Ladies and gentlemen, get ready for takeoff, because we're returning to Top Gun today. Goodness gracious, was that movie amazing. Its sharp turns and thrilling aerial action nearly set us on great balls of fire. We were all curious about how they were filmed, and now the director has finally divulged the secrets. So in the video, we're diving into Joseph Kosinski's explanation of how the dogfight scenes in Top Gun Maverick were shot. First up, CGI takes a back seat. Before we land on the topic, it's only fair to visit the glorious Top Gun past. The original 1986 movie was groundbreaking. Its filmography and rock and roll style inspired generations, starting the trend of Ray-Bans and aviation jackets. One of the main reasons for its iconic status is the preference for realism. The classic movie showcased real jets and equipment, even shooting inside a naval air station. It shot pilots in actual F-14s, but that's all it could do. Ultimately, they had to shoot actors using scale models and special effects, even though they weren't as advanced as they are now. With Top Gun Maverick, the industry has zoomed forward with the latest CGI and other tech to make it as authentic as possible. But Top Gun started a realism trend, and the sequel had massive shoes to fill. So despite all available technology, they went old school. What's more, the director says even with technological advancement, you can't fake a dogfighter's view. Some things you just can't CGI, like a cockpit view of a Super Hornet 30 feet above ground going at 600 miles an hour, twisting and turning in a canyon. So in an age of computer imagery, Maverick hit the roots right on target and enabled us to experience a cockpit like never before. None of it is fake, and man, that is a rarity nowadays. Yes, some special effects did polish some scenes, but every actor is truly tasting the sky high instead of being in front of a green screen. Following with, here's what inspired the filmography. To step further from its predecessor, Team Maverick was on the lookout for how to shoot and achieve this feat realistically. Did you know the director Joseph Kosinski is a big aviation fan? He knows all the nitty-gritty details of the Sky Beast, even building an airplane himself after college. And that's why he loved watching aviation videos on YouTube. All aviation lovers can totally relate to this, right? Anyways, Joseph recently revealed this to the New York Times. The director said he got an idea while indulging in his YouTube research. Many Navy pilots used GoPros fitted inside cockpits to film training exercises and post videos online. Kosinski also found the off-kilter camera angle fascinating, stating it was more interesting than any movie aerial sequence. So a light bulb appeared over his head, and the cogs started to turn. He thought, what if I set various cameras in the cockpit like a GoPro, put Tom in the back seat and an expert Top Gun pilot in the front? The pilot could fly and crews could act. Voila! And that's how they decided to go all in. Moving on, the makers created a high-tech camera system. IndieWire calls it the secret weapon of Maverick filmmakers, and its fancy name is the Sony Rialto Camera Extension System. For maximum authenticity, 6K Venice cameras with customized lenses are used. It was the brainchild of Joe and his cinematographer, Claudio Miranda. You can't just create a hi-fi camera system and not do a test drive, so Claudio took it out on a spin, filming a car commercial a year before Maverick production. That turned out spectacularly. So the main deal began. They put 6 cameras inside the cockpit, 2 facing the pilot's back, giving us the frontal jet view, and 4 facing different angles of the actor in the back seat. With both wearing similar uniforms, it's impossible to tell they're different people. The elaborate multicam setup was wired to a switch, so the actor could turn on all 6 cameras with a single flip. And that's just for one plane. They mostly used 2 F-18s, so that makes 12 cameras. And the other helis, jets, air and ground cameras were a whole other deal. The Oblivion producer says they had almost 26 rolling cameras on a single day. What's more, we have to talk about the uniquely engineered Phenom 300E plane that did most of the aerial shooting. It's owned by an aviation entrepreneur, Jonathan Spano, who was part of the filming as a camera pilot. Accompanying him, we had the acclaimed stunt pilot, La Rosa II, who has worked on Godzilla, Iron Man, and Avengers. The duo flew in the F-18's tails, giving us stunning views of its aggressive aerobatic stunts. And it was no piece of cake, following with the exhausting shooting process. The American filmmaker calls the shooting process tedious, and with good reason. He says shooting fast-moving objects means you'll get hardly 2 to 3 seconds of good footage. Hear this out. On a 14-hour day, getting a good 30-second shoot was a success. What's more, they did 813 hours of aerial footage, and just 2 hours ended up in the film. Man, they really didn't just wing it. Joseph further shared that they first rehearsed in a wooden mock F-18 cockpit with all the complicated control panels. With the Top Gun pilot in the front seat and the cast in the back, they played the entire scene out. The director would be right beside them, giving notes. And then the real ride began. The next hour or so, while they were on the Super Hornet, Kosinski used to sit twiddling his thumbs, waiting for them to return. He called it a strange filming experience because he wasn't even present during the main shoot. The entire team gathered around the screens as soon as they landed and watched the footage. Sometimes the actors got pointers, and at other times got praise from the director, especially when they threw up. Yup, despite the rigorous training regime, some puke here and there was standard. But it was plain awesome, as we got to see authentic actors' reactions to the intense gravity effects. Not to mention, gotta give credit to the Navy and its pilots. The Navy was a huge part in making Top Gun Maverick a reality. Not just the Navy, but even the Pentagon fully accommodated them. They permitted use of its equipment, fighter jets, locations, and pilots. Since the first Top Gun led to massive enlistment to the Navy, all hands were on this deck for an accurate depiction. They really went all out, allowing cameras to be fitted in the super expensive F/A-18F, Super Hornets, and more. What's more, they even let the Mission Impossible actor shoot at a top-secret military base. Remember the opening Dark Star scene? That was only possible thanks to the US military. And did you know the Navy also gave the Maverick mission idea? The production team asked them what could be the hardest, gnarliest, scariest mission for a naval aviator. The result is the entire movie plot. They compiled all the best ideas into the script, except the mission being at night. That would have stolen all the visual glory. And the real heroes were the Top Gun pilots that performed those breathtaking maneuvers. The safety of the celebrities in their back seats only added to the pressure. It was no easy job for sure, and the brave aviators totally deserve endless praise. In other related news, Maverick is still cruising high. It's been almost 3 months since the movie was released, but it's showing no signs of slowing down. Previously, we heard even more cinemas are showing it, upping the screen numbers. Now, Forbes says the Top Gun sequel can close the summer box office as the reigning champion. It was also digitally released a couple weeks back and is already in the top 20 best-selling digital releases in US history. And God knows what'll happen when its 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray and DVD versions are released in November. To sum it up, the highest-grossing cruise film, the 6th ever highest-grossing domestic hit, and the #1 film of 2022, Top Gun Maverick, is totally fulfilling the need for speed. Up next, the moment when Charles Parnell realized how massive the movie became. Even the cast didn't comprehend how big the movie got after its release. Maverick Book's Admiral Solomon Warlock Bates shares that fans' interaction made him aware of the movie's success. He said usually people that approach him have also seen their movie once. That's an honor for the actor, that at least the audience has watched it. With the Top Gun sequel, most of the fans Charles encountered had seen the movie multiple times. It amazes him that people are repeatedly going to the cinema to watch it, especially when lockdown has negatively hit cinematic releases. Several people telling Parnell they watched it more than once really put it in perspective for him. Finally, much like us, Quentin Tarantino loves Top Gun Maverick. Normally, you don't hear Quentin talking about new movies. Even if you do, it's mostly not good. But this cruise film has won him over. The acclaimed director revealed this on a podcast, saying he effing loved it. Tarantino even went to see it in cinemas, which speaks volumes about how much it appealed to him. It's his current favorite movie alongside Steve Spielberg's West Side Story. The director spoke highly about them, that they're a true cinema spectacle. He wasn't sure he was going to see any more. It really is keeping dreams alive. And that's a wrap. Did the Dogfight filming process amaze you as much as it did us? Tell us in the comments below. Don't forget to like and share the video. Hit the subscribe button for more content like this. See you in the next one.